Welcome back, everyone. Lewis Hamilton makes a staggering claim over Ferrari F1 driver lineup. Yes, Lewis has said something that the internet cannot seem to grasp the concept of what he's trying to say. Lewis Hamilton is approaching his first race weekend with Ferrari as the Italian squad goes to hunt for the first title in 17 years. Lewis Hamilton has claimed the current driver lineup at Ferrari with him and Charles Leclerc is the strongest F1 has ever seen throughout its 75-year history. While I don't know if those were Lewis Hamilton's exact words, I thought everyone was entitled to their own opinion. Isn't Lewis entitled to his own opinion? What's going on here? That is what I keep on getting told, is that everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Well, this is Lewis' opinion. He believes that him and Charles is the strongest driver pair in F1 has ever seen. Lewis believing himself to be the greatest. As we all know, he rightfully is. Charles is an exceptional talent. Well, if it's not the best driver pairing, what is it? In the top 5, top 10? He's not far off, is he? Hamilton joined the Italian squad this year following a 12-year season at Mercedes, where he won 6 of his 7 F1 titles. The 40-year-old partners Charles Leclerc in the squad as the latter enter his 7th season in red. Leclerc has won 8 Grand Prix during his time at Ferrari, but has now set his sight on achieving an even bigger feat. Leclerc said the main priority is to bring Ferrari back to the top. Ferrari has always been my one and only dream. The next one is to be world champion in red. Ferrari narrowly missed out on the Constructors' title last year due to the strong rivalry from McLaren. While its driver championship success drought stretched back to 2007, as the Italian squad aims to get back to the forefront of the Formula One grid, Hamilton has suggested his partnership with Leclerc is the best, and here's a statement, "We're the strongest pairing F1 has ever probably had," Hamilton stated. Okay, well, you see, when you get the quote, that makes a lot more sense. And I'll read it again for all the people who are still confused. This is his opinion, and his opinion, he said this exactly, "We're the strongest pairing F1 has probably ever had." Probably. He said probably. He didn't say, yeah, we're the greatest they've ever had. Absolutely. No, he said probably. That probably word, for everyone who don't know what probably mean, let's look it up. Because people are losing their mind online. People are like, how can he say that? There's Senna and Prost, there's Lewis and Alonso. People are like, how can he say that? It's ridiculous. People are ready to start a war. Let's find out what the word probably means. Almost certainly, as far as one knows or can tell. Okay, so it's based on your perspective. So this is based on Hamilton's perspective. As far as he knows and can tell, he believes him and Leclerc, being the strong driver pairing that they are, is the best, probably, in F1 history. I mean, what is stronger than that? Okay, you could say Ayrton and Prost. So where does that put Lewis and Charles? Are they second place? Are they third place? Following Alonso and Hamilton? Where are you going to put them? So he just says, probably. It's possible. It's possible. What if Charles Leclerc turns out to be better than Prost? If Charles Leclerc turns out to be better than Prost, we already know Hamilton is greater than Ayrton Senna. So doesn't that mean that Hamilton is probably right? Probably. People are losing their mind, and it's because they won't read into it. They just see an article and they just believe the headlines. They don't actually do any research of their own. People just believe anything that they hear. It's crazy. People just believe anything that they hear instead of look into it. Hamilton said, probably. He said probably, okay? Probably. If you don't believe me, look it up for yourself. If you don't believe me, Google the word probably and find out for yourself. He said probably. It's probably the best driver pairing in F1. Probably. If I were to say what's a better comparison? Is it Alonso and Hamilton? Is it Prost and Senna? They're very close. But even saying that, Lewis Hamilton is probably right. He's probably right, but only time will tell, but he's probably right. And other news, Cadillac F1 team approves to join as grid 11th outfit for 2026 season. We're going to have an 11th team in Formula One. It has been some time since we've had an 11th team in Formula One. Hamilton will make his race debut at Ferrari in the Australian Grand Prix next week. It is getting super close. Outlining the appeal of signing for Ferrari, Hamilton had it, and I quote, "I have always imagined what it would be like sitting in the cockpit surrounded by red. I've always seen drivers that have come before me in red and wondered how that would look on me." He's always had a curiosity. I mean, imagine that since he was a kid, Ferrari, the legendary red car. Everyone knows Ferrari. Everyone is an admirer at Ferrari, even if you're admiring from a distance. But still, at this point in his career, to drive for Ferrari, like I said in previous videos, this was probably the only time in Lewis Hamilton's Formula One career that it made sense for him to drive for Ferrari. Because it's not just about him just wanting to drive at Ferrari, it's whether or not Ferrari wants Hamilton. Ferrari has never wanted Hamilton until now, until a certain team principal came along, Fred Vasseur, until a certain chairman and CEO came along, John Elkann. These are people who are fond of Hamilton. Hamilton has created a good friendship with them professionally and otherwise. They're acquainted. They're greatly familiar with each other. And over the years, Lewis has been a loyal Ferrari customer, going to the factories to pick up cars or to order cars. He's been a great admirer from a distance. Due to working with McLaren and Mercedes, he's had to remain respectful to McLaren and Mercedes. Can't be too obsessed with Ferrari. But who knows how long he's been working on this or waiting for an opportunity to drive for the Prance and Ars, for Ferrari, per sangue. Like I said, there was no other time where it was ideal for him to do this. When he was at McLaren, he was winning a championship. He was, struggling in 09, interesting on and off, interesting dynamics in the McLaren team. But even then, wasn't a great time to go to Ferrari. Sebastian Vettel and Ferrari were both approaching each other. And Ferrari, I believe, had Kimi Räikkönen and Fernando Alonso. Wasn't a good time. Once Lewis went to Mercedes, Mercedes was successful enough to keep Lewis occupied. There was never a good chance for him to go to Ferrari. I think 2017 and 18 were encouraging in Ferrari, performance. I think then he might have had a consideration, but even still, everything was running smooth at Mercedes. There's no reason to trouble the boat. Until 2021 and the rules change, everything changed. For the last few years, everything has changed for Lewis and for Mercedes and for Formula One. This is the time. Ferrari wants Lewis. Ferrari chose Lewis. That's important. They chose Lewis. It's not a case where Lewis wanted Ferrari, but Ferrari didn't want Lewis. I would argue Ferrari wanted Lewis more than Lewis realized. Fred Vasseur wanted Lewis as soon as he got in the team. Around Monaco, they started to speak about this in 2023. That man had no interest in keeping Carlos. And I mean, no offense to Carlos, but I think, Fred Vasseur worked with Hamilton, previously, years ago. They know each other very well. Great amount of respect amongst the two. And I think Fred understands Lewis very well, more than a lot of other team principal might have appreciated, in the sense that Lewis needs to have confidence in the team, the car, and himself. Fred believes Ferrari can do that. Fred believes Lewis and Ferrari can create history together, along with Charles, of course. And it's like I said, whether Charles or Lewis win that driver title, as long as it goes to one of them, I don't really mind. I'd prefer it if Lewis wins, but if Charles wins that Ferrari title, I honestly don't mind. It is a huge improvement versus Max Verstappen winning. It's a huge improvement versus Lando Norris winning. Charles winning that title wouldn't be so bad. But if I could have it my way, I'm choosing Lewis. In fact, I am choosing Lewis. Since last year when the move was announced that he's going to Ferrari, I was watching that Ferrari performance all year. And I realized, holy crap, if Lewis was in that Ferrari, Ferrari would have won the Constructors last year in 2024. Because one of the big reasons they didn't win was because Carlos, it wasn't as competitive as Leclerc. Leclerc was a little bit more competitive. That's one reason. And Lewis being there can match or surpass that race pace and competitiveness. Together, Lewis and Charles are are monstrous. You know, they both of them at one team, they are monsters. I just hope they get a chance to fight other drivers more than they get chances to fight each other. I just hope that there's enough competition from McLaren, from Red Bull, from Mercedes, that it's not just Lewis and Charles fighting each other. They have to fight other drivers: Max, Russell, Lando, Piastri, Antonelli, Lawson. It's going to be quite a few, especially, you know, race performance will fluctuate depending on which track you go to. It will be very unpredictable this season. I believe Lewis' experience and his race pace can overcome. I believe Lewis can outshine the younger drivers in experience and race pace and patience. Because everyone in Formula One, even the fans, seem to be obsessed with qualifying. They're like, I'm not sure if Lewis can outqualify Charles over the course of the season. Who gives a fuck? I don't care about our qualifying. I care about his race pace, and his race pace is inhuman. That's how good it is. His driving ability, his racecraft, his overtaking skills is impeccable. Him under pressure is impeccable. That's the Hamilton we're getting. So I really don't care if Charles outqualify him. I really don't care. If there's only one or two positions separating Charles and Lewis, I got news flash for you. Lewis is going to be a monster hunting down any driver that's in front of him. The last guy you want to see behind you is that menacing yellow helmet. I tell you, whether it's raining or shining, baby, the last helmet you want to see behind you is this bright yellow helmet coming at you in a menacing factor. Because you know, Lewis, he's not just aggressive, he's very clever with how he overtakes you. And if there's 50 laps to go, he's going to be on your ass for 51 laps the entire time. You will make a mistake, and he will pounce. He will exploit your mistakes. So I think people are underestimating Lewis, and I think people are putting an over-importance on qualifying. Qualifying is not everything. Qualifying is not everything. If it was Monaco for the entire year, no overtaking, I'd understand. Qualifying would be very important. But there are certain tracks where overtaking and strategy calls are a little bit more flexible. There go. This adds an element of unpredictability. Racecrafts. Experience will outshine the youth. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Remember to follow us on Twitter. And thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. It's been phenomenal. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I will see you in our next video. Thank you for joining our community at the Race Creator 44R.